Alright, we're going to watch a classic here. 1979. Salem's Lot. Let's check it out. Our film starts out in Guatemala.
Another one has found us. We have to go further.
David Soul plays Ben Mears. He's a writer returning to his hometown of Salem's Lot. He's going to write about the local haunted house, the Marston House. And here's James Mason, who plays Mr. Straker, a foreigner opening up a local antique store in Salem's Lot.
Yes, well, I can assure you that people will find Mr. Barlow well worth the wait. Especially you, Mr. Crockett. I've told him already how helpful you've been.
Mr. Barlow is his partner.
Sure I will.
And he's decided to stay at this house.
How come you came here?
Real estate man sent me.
No, I mean to Salem's Lot. Strangers don't usually come here this time of year.
Later on, she peeks at some of his writings.
I'm scribbling here, too. Something about a boy. A boy in a house.
And Bonnie Bedelia plays Susan, who he starts dating.
Your father knew.
My mother doesn't like anyone except Ned Tennis.
Who's he?
With the British. Hooray for
That's Lance Kerwin on the left, and if you look closely, you'll see a girl. That's Nancy McKeon.
Daddy, come back safe.
Susan's ex-boyfriend, the jealous Ned Teppets.
Get in.
No,
Susan,
you've no right to do this.
you said you loved me. You said it.
Ned and Jeffrey Lewis have to
It's funny.
move a crate.
This crate feels very cold.
It's going to Mr. Straker's house, the Marston house.
It's been sitting out here.
I've seen trees that look like tortured spirits.
A house. The Marston house, for instance. Can it be evil in its stone foundations and its wooden beams?
These are the Glick brothers.
Hey, I'm going.
They're heading home from
Danny, wait!
Lance Kerwin's house, and they get separated. Anyway, Ned and Jeffrey Lewis, who plays Mike, they deliver the crate to the basement of the Marston house, and they get spooked. The other boy makes it home, but he ain't quite right.
Danny, what happened? What happened, son?
Where's Ralph?
Where is his brother, little brother Ralphie Glick? Well, Mr. Straker has him in a bag. Now we're going to have a domestic dispute with Boom Boom Bonnie.
Well. Cully, I guess I owe Weasel Phillips a case of beer.
Well, he scares him by pointing an empty gun at him.
Crockett. Crockett?
After leaving Boom Boom Bonnie's, he suddenly shows up here. Perhaps dead. Perhaps the creepiest scene in the entire movie is when Ralphie Glick comes to pay a visit to his brother. And Danny lets him in. Townsfolk search for the missing little boy.
Don't touch that. No, get me an envelope.
Danny is now in the hospital, and Ralphie comes to visit him again. The next morning, Danny's dead.
Body of this child to be buried in its human imperfection. Let us...
Mike is the gravedigger for Danny Glick, and something possesses him to jump in.
Throwing off energy force.
Mike.
Let's sit back.
And then Danny shows up at Mark's window.
Please. Let me in. It's okay, Mark. I'm your friend. He commands it. Go away. Go away! Turn your head, Mike. This way. Where did you get these marks?
Do you have a rosary or a crucifix?
Yeah, in my bedroom. Mr. Burke has blood?
Yes, please. Blood. Single drop. Mike. Mike, wake up.
Mike's no longer with us. Mr. Straker's antique shop opens up. No sign of Mr. Barlow yet.
There's no chance that...
I'm sorry, but
I understand.
And though it was never proved, was suspected in the disappearance of several children.
yes, it was terrible, wasn't it?
Interesting.
Remarkable, yes.
Remember Ned Tibbetts? He's still not happy with Susan dating Ben.
You snake.
Mike's back.
Look at me. Look at me, teacher. I revoke my invitation.
Sleep like the dead, teacher.
No!
Oh, that excitement gave him a heart attack. That's Lou Ayres who plays Jason. He survives. Ned Tibbetts is in jail for beating up Ben. He's gonna get a visitor, though.
They found him dead this morning in town jail. Dad examined him. Pernicious anemia.
Change in this century. Evil with a small e.
Satan with a small tail. Witches. Incubi.
Vampires?
In Salem's Lot.
Haven't you noticed anything out of the way, peculiar?
That night in Mark's kitchen was the local priestess paying a visit to the family. Things start to shake.
What do you want?
The master wants you. Throw away your cross, face the master, your faith against his faith. Could you do that? It's your faith.
Mrs. Glick, who died earlier that day, is coming to life.
Join the undead. She's a vampire too. Soon this whole town of Salem's Lot. Susan, you're gonna have to leave town.
Mother and Dad?
Susan decided to pay a visit to the Marston house, and she sees Mark, stake in hand, ready to go in. So she's going to follow him. By the time she gets up there, Mark has already gone in. Mark heard a noise and ran off. The local cop, he's leaving town.
Where are you going? South Carolina. Visit relative. You can't do that.
Anyway, Susan was supposed to leave town, so Ben and Susan's dad, when she didn't leave, going looking for her at the house. They're also going there to destroy Barlow. Susan's dad doesn't fare very long, though. Straker gets him. He then comes after them. It took several bullets, but Mr. Straker falls. They go into the basement and then they go into the root cellar. Where they find not only Mr. Barlow's coffin, but all the other vampires sleeping.
The sun's gone down.
They'd best hurry.
Look at him.
So he stakes him. While that's happening, the other vampires start to wake up. So they kill Barlow and then they torch the house. All the other vampires are still locked up in the root cellar where Mark got them.
Sorry, Susan. Forgive me.
Town will burn.
It will drive them out of their hiding place.
All of them.
Come full circle from the beginning of the film. We're back in Guatemala. Obviously in the future a little bit. And Susan is there. Susan's changed. She asks for a kiss. She gets a little more. So our film ends with the knowledge that Ben and Mark are going to be vampire hunters. Alright, let's talk about Salem's Lot, 1979, made for TV. It's a movie that I was on the very first tape I ever owned. It was a beta tape. I taped Creepshow, which was my first movie I ever taped, and Salem's Lot was number 2. So I have a long history with this movie. The movie that I taped off of cable was like an hour and 55 minutes, something like that. But the original made-for-TV version was spread over 2 nights and was about 3 hours long, which is what this is now, the uncut Blu-ray here. It's about 3 hours and 3 minutes. It's obviously Stephen King wrote this story. Toby Hooper directed it. James Mason, David Soul, Lance Kerwin, of course, Reggie Nalder as Barlow. They remade this again, I think 1997 or so. I think Rob Lowe and Rutger Hauer were in that one. I've only seen that once, but again, this movie here, the original, it's one of the few movies that actually legitimately, to this day, actually scare me. I am scared by this movie. The vampires are just horrific. The scenes with little boys scratching on the windows, it's just terrifying. And those scenes are just, wow, they just stick into your head. And again, Barlow, who was based off of Nosferatu, who was the ugliest screen vampire in movie history, here they've colorized him up and he's ugly as hell still. But anyway, I cannot recommend this movie higher. Like I said, it scares me, and that's exactly... I wish more movies scared me, because I love to be scared. Horror is my favorite genre. So anyway, I'll keep this short and sweet. Check it out, Salem's Lot, Blu-ray. You can get this really cheap for about $5. Unbelievable. Get it. Let me know what you think about it. Salem's Lot. Watch it. Bye.